This is my HP laptop. It's now almost 2 years old and it's died a horrible death. Now I have actually reviewed this laptop probably, well, when I first bought it in fact, so if you want to have a look at that, just look back and you'll see what my original thoughts of it was. Now I use it predominantly only for, it's just on in the day, and if I get emails or Skype, that's what I use it for. And at night I use it for watching YouTube videos and some that sort of thing. So it doesn't have any huge taxing things to do, but it's already in pieces, as you can tell. It doesn't normally come like this, but this is the problem. If I switch it on, as you can see, it's a lovely, not right colour. Everything works on it, it processes properly, and no actual problem with the laptop at all. But as you can see, it doesn't look very good, does it? Now, as you can see, there are some strange lines going down it, and the colour is completely wrong. Apologies for all the reflections. The screen on this thing is really shiny, and whatever angle I choose, you get reflections of yours truly and the rest of the room. Right, now it's very evident there's no red in it. Now, initially I thought, well, that's the end of the computer. I thought, well, I wonder if it's the processor or one of the chips or something inside, in which case it's a death sentence. For me anyway, because it's all on one board. So to replace the board, the computer itself was only 700 New Zealand dollars, and that was 2 years ago. So it's not worth spending $200 or something on a board. So I thought, well, on the grounds that it doesn't work, I can only make it better. And if I make it worse, it's not the end of the planet. But I thought, well, what if it's actually the screen that's faulty? So what I did, I plugged it into the HDMI output onto another monitor. It was perfect. So that, to me anyway, and that would tend to make me believe that the computer itself is okay, and it's the board and it's the actual screen that's faulty. It's relatively simple to get apart. I didn't film this unfortunately, but if this is successful I will show you how to reassemble it, so it's just the reverse obviously. But this is the actual panel, and on the back here you have the part number, and then you go along to AliExpress or one of its types and you order a new board, and it simply connects here. And all you have to do to take it out from there is just to gently pull this out. First of all, you lift off the tape, and then it just comes out. Well, it does. Yeah, there we go. So now we have the board. I keep calling it a board. I suppose because it looks like a board. And there's the potentially faulty item and pictures of yours truly in the reflection. Some 2 weeks later, in fact this morning, this box arrived. Amazingly large. That gives me some confidence that the contents are not smashed up. Now, I know many people like to do an unboxing video, but to me that is boring beyond belief, and I hope you share my thoughts on that. So off camera I'm going to open this and we'll see if it's all smashed up or what. But I'm optimistic because that's a big box. It doesn't weigh anything. Well, I have to say that is some very good packing. And here we have hopefully the board. I must say I cannot fault the company's packing. Whether the product's any good remains to be seen. Right, let's get rid of that lot. Oh, it smells very nice. If it smells nice, it must be good. Now, does it look like that? Oh, I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic. Look. Well, the connector's in the same place. I'm filled with optimism now. Well, the distributor claims this is new, and I think that's possibly true. It's still got the protective, ultra shiny protection on there, and it certainly doesn't look like it, because I had a feeling, because this was about, I think from memory, about 65 New Zealand dollars, whereas other companies, I went to the local unnamed shop and they wanted $200 for a new screen and fitting. And I thought, well, $200 sounds a lot of money on a $700 machine. So I thought I'd have a go myself. So now I'm going to just bring the laptop over and we'll connect it up and see whether I've made a complete fool of myself in this video in front of my 25 viewers, or whether I've turned out to be brilliant. I've plugged the little plug in and it's just laying up against here, and I've just put that on there for protection. So we will power up and we will see what we will see. Now this would work better if we put some go-go juice into it, because at the moment there's no battery connected, so we will try again. Oh, it looks encouraging. Well, who's a clever boy then? Now, reassembly is very simple. It's purely a mechanical job. You saw that the supply and all the connections was just that simple plug-in unit on there, but it is very fragile, so be very careful how you do it. But here in the top, this is the screw that holds it. Now, when I took it apart, I'd never taken one apart before, so I untook all the screws. Now, this screw here is the screw that holds the frame to the high quality plastic area, so I didn't need to take that off. So I've got to put that screw back, and this is the screw, which is a tiny little screw which holds the panel to the frame, and the same applies in the other four corners. Hopefully you've retained all the little screws, and I always put them in a plastic bag, but you can see on my hand how small these screws are, and I've already dropped one on the floor and I've been on my hands and knees for 10 minutes trying to find it. Luckily I did, but they are microscopic, and my fingers are like, oh, I sounded like a teenager then saying like, didn't I? Don't want to start that habit. There's enough people. There's a guy in Australia, well known to everybody, that drives me nuts when he keeps saying like every time. Right, so that's that. You can see that screw in there, so I won't bore you anymore. I'm going to replace, or not, I'm going to fit these screws here, which holds the frame to the plastic. Well, amazingly, I don't have any screws left over. Now, that's got to be a record for me, because usually when you take things apart, there's always one screw missing, isn't there? Or either missing, or you've got too many screws. Well, I'm delighted to say in this case I haven't got any screws left over. I've taken the protective cover off, and we're just about to add the trim to it, and that should, if I can remember how it goes on, let's tilt this back a bit more. I think that probably goes in there. This is a learning curve. I'll just pop the bottom piece in there and it should just pop into place. With a bit of luck. It's a lot harder to get it apart than it is to put it back together. Because you need, well, basically I didn't know what I was doing. Well, I've finally got it all back together, and as you can see it's now the right colour and working nicely. This is a view of the old board, and you can see that it's actually full of components right at the bottom. And I suspect it's one of these that's actually failed rather than the screen itself. But certainly trying to fix something like this, and you can see the size of these components compared with my finger. I mean, I can hardly see them, let alone try and fault find on it. I think I did the right thing by just buying a new board complete with all this stuff.